When I say the worst politician in video games, who comes to mind? Maybe it's George Sears from Metal Gear Solid 2, aka Solid Snake, the AI president of the Enclave in Fallout 3, Andrew Ryan from BioShock, or every single politician in the Far Cry games. What if I told you that the true worst politician in gaming is none other than Mayor Lewis from Stardew Valley? Pelican Town, located in Stardew Valley, is governed by the one and only Mayor Lewis. In fact, it has been governed by Mayor Lewis for the last 20 years by the time the farmer arrives, which must mean he's a great mayor, right? Well, Lewis himself admits that nobody ever runs against him, so maybe it's just that nobody else wants to be mayor, or maybe he simply won't let them. It's a well-known fact that Pelican Town is pretty much in shambles when the farmer arrives. The community center is a mess, the bus is out of service, the mine elevator is broken, the quarry isn't accessible due to a broken bridge, and the farm itself has long been forgotten. And who is in charge of the town's infrastructure and services? Mayor Lewis. A few days after the farmer's arrival, he conveniently takes them to one side and shows them the community center, calling it an eyesore, and going on to blame the young folk for the state of the community center. Joe Jamart, the corporation that's moved into town, has been hounding him to sell the land, and he might just take them up on that offer. Seems sensible, right? There's so much to do around the valley, and he could really use the funds to start fixing the place up. Or could he? Lewis collects business tax from every single business in Pelican Town monthly, or technically seasonally, which is normal enough mayor behavior. One could assume that these taxes go towards maintaining the museum that you donate everything to, and holding the many festivals and events that occur throughout the year. In fact, Lewis himself does confirm that the library is one of Pelican Town's greatest features. It's funded with the taxes we collect from local businesses. And on the surface, this all seems to add up. A beloved mayor doing the best he can for a small town. There's not much to work with, but they get by, right? Well, if you dig a little deeper, specifically behind Lewis's house after finding secret note number 19, the ugly truth rears its solid gold head. Mayor Lewis, the only mayor this town has had for the last 2 decades, has been stealing town funds for the sole purpose of funding his very own solid gold statue. Now, how much could this statue be worth? Maybe it's not that bad. A few thousand gold from his personal savings surely couldn't do much harm, right? So let's figure it out. The human body, on average, is about 62,000 cubic centimeters in volume, or 3,783 cubic inches for my US friends. We also have to account for the solid stand that the statue itself is on, which I'm estimating to be another 20,000 cubic centimeters or 1,220 cubic inches, bringing our statue's volume up to 82,000 cubic centimeters or just over 5,000 cubic inches. Now, bear with me here. 1 cubic centimeter of gold weighs 19.28 grams or 0.68 ounces, which would make the statue itself weigh in at 1,580.96 kilograms, including the stand, or 3,485.4 pounds. The weight of a standard gold bar is 12 kilos, or 26.45 pounds, which would mean that the statue is made up of approximately 132 gold bars. Now, we could assume that Lewis mines, smelts, and crafts this statue himself. After all, gold seems to be pretty abundant in the Fern Republic, which is where Stardew Valley is set. But this is Lewis we're talking about. Of course he didn't do any of this himself. If purchased from Clint's in year 1, gold ore costs 400 gold and it goes up to 750 gold starting in year 2. Coal costs 150 gold in year 1 and 250 gold in year 2. Now, you can only find Lewis's gold statue after you've found its corresponding secret note, note 19, which can only be found after talking to the shadowy figure in Pelican Town at the end of year 1. So, I'm gonna work on the assumption that Lewis bought his materials starting in year 2. He would need a total of 132 coal and 660 gold ores to make all of the bars, which comes in at a total of 33,000 on coal and 495,000 on gold ore. Now, without accounting the cost of the actual labor itself, if he paid somebody to make this, Mayor Lewis's gold statue comes in at around 528,000 gold, just over 500,000. Now that is pretty damn scandalous, especially considering the fact that we know how much it costs to fix up all of the messed up things around the valley. If you pay JojaMart instead of doing the community centre, I know, just bear with me, it costs a total of 140,000 gold to achieve everything that restoring the community centre achieves. JojaMart's workers fix the bus for 40,000 gold, and the Junimos do it for 42,000 gold. And Mayor Lewis is over here with a statue worth 500,000 gold talking about young folk being the issue. Some could argue that what he does with his salary as mayor is his own business. But what about the town? And also, this seems a little bit excessive for just being a salary. Lewis even admits that the bus has been out of service for decades, leaving the villagers stranded, and we've already seen that it could have been repaired for a fraction of the price of his solid gold statue. And if that's not enough to rustle your blueberries, when the community centre is repaired, he likes to hang out around the vault that you donated tens of thousands of gold to fix the bus. Plus, remember how he said earlier that Pelican Town could use the funds from JojaMart if the community centre was sold? He doesn't do a damn thing with those funds if you decide to side with JojaMart over the community centre. Absolutely nothing changes. He doesn't use them to fix the bus, he doesn't use them to improve events, he does literally nothing different. On top of all that, every now and then, Mayor Lewis sends the farmer some money in the mail from the, quote, Stardew Valley Agricultural Fund. And the higher your friendship level with the mayor, the more likely you are to receive money, which is super sketchy. Also, what was happening to this money before you arrived in Stardew Valley? Was he stealing that too? Or is the Stardew Valley Agricultural Fund not even real and he's just handing out taxpayers' money to his friends? Stealing the town's money is not the only scandal that Lewis has found himself in. In between polishing his gold statue and doing absolutely nothing for the town, Lewis has time for yet another secret. It is a very badly kept secret, but it is a secret nonetheless. The mayor of Pelican Town is sneaking around in bushes with local rancher Marnie. They do a terrible job of hiding it and can frequently be seen together at different festivals and events, not to mention their secret trysts in the town's bushes late at night. In fact, Mayor Lewis can be spotted pleading with Marnie not to make their relationship public. Lewis claims that if they go public, it will undermine his authority, which I have never understood. Why would a mayor of a small town be worried about his relationship with another consenting adult becoming public? And this is particularly interesting considering the fact that Lewis brings up not having time for relationships and seems to harbour some regrets about not settling down to start a family. And why would he be asking the local farmer for help finding his underwear, of all things, if the only place it could be is at Marnie's? Why not ask her directly if he knows they couldn't be anywhere else? They are sitting on the floor of her room, so she would definitely tell him if she knew he was looking for them. Unless he thinks they might be found somewhere Marnie wouldn't approve of. Tell me, dear viewer, what reason could this man possibly have to ask a newcomer to the town to look for his underwear discreetly, rather than asking his secret lover if she has them? Because Marnie is clearly not the only woman. It's the only thing that makes sense to me when you factor in him not wanting to go public with their relationship at all. So who do we think the other woman is? I do have some theories. The town is actively gossiping about his affair, and in a rare and difficult to get cutscene where you have to date all of the romanceable women in town at once and then carry a rabbit's foot on you when entering Emily's house to avoid them dumping you, just Stardew things, you catch some of the gossip. They're all talking about Lewis clearly having a thing with Marnie, but Penny, of all people, denies this notion and really doesn't seem to want to entertain the idea, getting angry when Haley basically calls her naive. It wouldn't be much of a stretch for Lewis to be throwing his influence around in more ways than one. Maybe he's secretly dating Penny too, and that's why he's so against Marnie going public. Maybe that's why they have to get it on in the bushes in town instead of in Mayor Lewis's house. I get that Marnie lives with other people, so that might be awkward, but why not just go to Lewis's house? Unless he's already bringing somebody else there. If the Penny theory doesn't convince you, how about this? Who else, aside from Marnie, can Mayor Lewis be seen with regularly? That's right, he spends a lot of time with Robin, yet another redhead. I can see a pattern forming here, actually. Now, spending time with someone is not nearly enough to merit thinking they're having an affair, but there is a very, very small chance for a speech bubble to pop up over Robin's head when you enter her shop that says, "Lou? Oh, as if she was expectantly waiting for Lewis. This exact same dialogue can also rarely be seen at Marnie's shop, and I am hoping that future Trashy, the one who is recording this and then editing this, will have been able to get footage of these speech bubbles because they are hard to get. I tried to do it for another video and it could not be done. So who knows how many illicit affairs Lewis has been carrying on in the shadows? The old computer hidden in his basement might know. That's right, aside from embezzlement and the affairs, Lewis has some really f***ed up shit in his basement. If you place a staircase in Lewis's bedroom, it will lead you to a maze in his basement with a computer and a stool with a trash can next to it. There's also a creepy teddy bear pointed towards the stool, and of course a pair of Mayor Lewis's underwear. The teddy bear is giving hidden camera in the worst of ways, and the trash can next to the secret basement computer is, concerning. On top of that, if you decide to pick up Mayor Lewis's secret nasty dirty basement underwear, a pair of floating, sentient, invincible basement underwear appear and start attacking you. What the f***, Lewis? Is this pair of sentient attack underwear some sort of magical defense system? Or did Lewis do something truly worrying that somehow spawned a pair of demon underwear in his basement and now he's also locked out of here? I have so many questions that I fear I may never get the answer to, and you know what? It's probably better that way. So yeah, Lewis is a scoundrel. He steals from the town that he's supposed to serve just so he can have a secret solid gold statue of himself. He's kept everyone stranded and unable to travel for 2 whole decades. He strings Marnie and who knows how many countless other women along, and he has some weird f***ed up shit in his basement, all while pretending to care so much about his job that he sacrificed having a family. Is he actually as evil and bad as the people that I mentioned in the start of the video? Of course not, that would be insane, but he does suck and I like being dramatic, so. Subscribe for more deep dives, tips and tricks, and general tomfoolery. Follow me on Twitch where I go live and yap a few times a week, and you can now sign up to be a member of the channel if you would like to support me and the videos that I make even more than you already do by just being here. Big shout out to JR Ratliff and Amy McCoy, who joined up before I even had the chance to announce that memberships were a thing. Y'all are awesome. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Love you, bye!